All right, everybody, welcome back to another Sorcery video. I've got my TTS League games. These are the top cut, top 32 of the league, season 5. This first game is against Christopher Lita. He's from the Discord. He's really cool. He's on Geomancer Roots, Mono Earth. I am playing a deck that CJ had put together and I helped tweak a little bit, called Wild Wild West. It's an Air Earth Sorcerer ramp. This list has some work to be done to it. I really wanted a second berry in a blink just for some common sense targets. But I really like it. I think it's really well positioned into Arthurian Legends. Getting your big stuff out early seems to be a very valuable strategy going forward. Talking about my mulligan here, I have 2 Pudge Butchers. I know I can reliably get Pudge Butcher on turn 3, and I expect him to have a berry. So that's why I kept 2 of them. I play the first Pudge Butcher as some removal bait, and then mulligan away my extra air sites and non-threshold sites to go look for some earth, get bedrocks and whatnot. Double Pudge Butcher I felt like was a pretty good opening hand, and Christopher's deck here is just chocked full of so much removal, and little chump blockers with Border Militia. And in this game, I'm really worried about leaving a foot soldier alive or a land surveyor, just because I'm terrified of gigantism. And you'll see in this game that I get hit with a gigantism when I really should have taken a turn to take care of a minion. But some editing notes here. I've added some cards to the top left there. Let me know how you guys feel about that, if I could do anything different. And then on the bottom right, I have a timer going. This was a 40-plus minute game. I have cut out a lot of it. A lot of thinking, a lot of contemplating, some conversation. But I'm just going to talk through some of my plays here. Turn 2, Frontier Settlers is really what this deck wants to be doing. It makes it a little awkward with the tower, but if I flip over anything other than a Gothic tower, I'm pretty happy. And even if he takes care of the Frontier Settlers, which I would love, but I would still have a Pudge Butcher on turn 3, and that's the goal of this opening hand. And then with a follow-up Pudge Butcher, I really hope to apply that early pressure. Geomancer is really good at that early card advantage that Pathfinder is, because you can just keep drawing spells every single turn. You have 3 sites you can play from the beginning, and those just turn into rubble. And then you can just tap, draw a site, or tap and play a site with your second ability, and draw a card, or draw a spell. Here he's playing Land Surveyors and Foot Soldiers and just clogging up the board with a little bit of 1/1s. Air's weakness is not being able to get in effectively, and Earth is just a bunch of big dumb idiots. A lot of well-costed minions. And so here I'm flipping using Frontier Settlers. I hit a Gothic tower. So I have 4 mana for the turn. I can just drop a Pudge, which I'm going to do, but I'm thinking about drawing a site or spell with my avatar, because I already have 4 mana. Next turn I can just play another site and just kind of be mana neutral, but also then have a extra spell in hand. But in this case, I just decide to develop my board, keep playing sites. This deck really wants to be at 7 or 8 mana, and even 9 mana doesn't feel bad because you're double drawing, and there's a lot of 4 and 5 drops, so you can double spell really easily at the higher mana costs. So passing the turn after playing Pudge, I fully expect Pudge to get buried. And then Frontier Settlers at this point has done its thing. I'm going to use this as a chump block to remove a 1/1, just to trade, just to clear the board. In a lot of these games, you'll find that whoever has minions that stick around the longest tend to do really well. So if you have an option to 1-for-1 trade and you have a follow-up, or you can throw your minion into their minion just to clear the board, but then keep playing minions, it's a really, really good thing to do. So here I just take 1 off the attack here, and then move the Land Surveyor up. So next turn I have Pudge Butcher again, and so I play Pudge Butcher, and expecting some 1/1s in the way, so I kind of hold Lightning Bolt to maybe clear the way for Pudge Butcher unexpectedly. Play a tower, go to 5 mana for the turn. It's not really going to do much, just going to play a Pudge Butcher. But still developing mana, trading the Foot Soldier with the Frontier Settlers. I drew a Bodyguard, so it's really good to hold Bodyguard. Even if you don't use the ability, a 4/4 for 4 is fine. Like Sandworm is really good, but Sandworm is good because it has burrow protection. Bodyguard is a little bit different than that, but it's still a very good minion. And play Pudge Butcher forward here because I know I play flanking maneuvers. And flanking maneuvers can come up and left, up and right. If I play him on my Sorcerer, I can't get him into an advantageous position to hit his Geomancer. So this is where like a lot of positioning matters and knowing your deck really well. Like if I had a Blink in hand, that changes where I play it. If I don't have any movement in hand, but I know I play movement in the deck, so I need to play my minions with that in mind. Maybe I top deck it. So here he says he got really lucky with a cave-in off the top. This was his card he drew for the turn. I would have loved not to have to play a Royal Bodyguard as a vanilla minion, but here we are. I think Christopher's deck plays like 8 or 9 pieces of removal, like berries, cave-ins, earthquakes. It's a lot. Everything gets removed. It's ridiculous. So getting to that double spell turn is really important. So my hand's starting to get a little clogged up with a bunch of utility spells. I play my Royal Bodyguard just as pressure because I see a flanking maneuver, and if I play it on the Land Surveyor, maybe there's some shenanigans he can do, maybe gigantisms or pumps, and just takes care of my minion. And I really want this guy to survive. So I play him back left with the idea I'm going to flanking maneuver. And so he hits me for 1. This is fine. So in this turn, I think I double draw. I think this was a huge mistake to double draw. I have enough mana to do 2 things. I can common sense and flanking maneuver in the same turn. So that's what I'm trying to say. You can do 2. You can do more than one thing. Play 1 card. Play a berry, and that's all you do for turn. That's not really what you want to be doing. 2 things a turn, playing 2 cards a turn. Play a sight, play a creature. Play a sight, play a removal spell. Play 2 cards, play 2 spell cards. Here I get to trade effectively, and this isn't even a 1-for-1 because my flanking maneuver draws me a card. So it just keeps his board clear. Here I play a sight, but I really should just take the 1 damage from Land Surveyor and just get that off the board. And then I have a Royal Bodyguard. I'm still at 5 mana. I can still next turn play Dark Tower and go up to 7 mana and be much more in the driver's seat. Even with this Land Surveyor, there's a huge threat of Gigantism next turn. So it's just keeping your opponent's board clean. Keep your opponent to having to deal with your stuff. Here I common sense, I think, for an Amazon Warriors, which is, I don't hate it, but I could have done that without playing a site. I could have common sensed next turn and played the site and played Amazon Warriors all in 1 turn. There's no reason for me not to do that next turn and just kill this minion. And then he's staring at a Royal Bodyguard and nothing else on board, which is a much better position than a royal bodyguard on board plus his land surveyor. Here he plays another bedrock, matches my site placements, which is totally fine. Also, you notice he moved over his last turn, which is, I think, a huge, really smart idea for Geomancers, because you really want to keep that card advantage going, and you get that card advantage by replacing rubble, and Geomancer can only replace rubble nearby. So I don't play a lot of Geomancer, but that's a really good thing to pick up on. And so I get attacked by 1 with the Land Surveyor. Now I draw another Warriors, and I go, oh, geez. I really should, again, kill the Land Surveyor. And the Spider doesn't really help my case, because I'm looking at a line of 1/1s to deal with some more. Here I attack, and he blocks, which I hoped for. I don't think he would have not done that, but that was a bit of a gamble. I could have just attacked his foot soldier directly and guaranteed it, but I don't think I would have blocked if I was him, just to keep stuff on board. So that was a misplay by me, and then also I think maybe a misplay by him. But Spider's here to protect against the front foot soldier, but I'm still worried about this Land Surveyor. This Land Surveyor is really annoying. I should just kill it. I don't know if you can tell I'm frustrated, but I should have killed Land Surveyor. The life total is 16 to 20. I'm lower, but it's still really close. Geomancer here using its second ability to replace rubble. I think he gets another 1/1. This Geomancer Roots deck is really good about just clogging the board with stuff. You can see on the timer on the bottom right, we're at 20 minutes already, and this game felt like it went on forever, and every little decision mattered. It was a really, really fun game. So here he Earthquakes to get rid of my minion and reposition himself. So that's the power of Earthquake. So he can tap and replace that site, and then next turn, tap and move over to the village and just do more rubble shenanigans. So repositioning with your Geomancer is really interesting and a critical choice in the matter. So here I double draw again. I get a core, but I don't need more mana. I'm going to say it again. I should have just killed the Land Surveyor. It's hit me for 3 extra turns. I could have just hit it for 1 and saved 2 damage. Yeah, that's my takeaway from this game. Play an Amazon Warriors as just another beater, another thing to deal with. Keep the pressure. So here he plays Crown Prince, and this is a really good minion, especially in a mono Earth shell where you have mortals running around everywhere with villages and Land Surveyors. So now I'm trying to think of how I can deal with a Crown Prince effectively. I've got to clear the board and then kill Crown Prince is the only way to get it off the board forever. And here's the gigantism that I was worried about. And in the game, I was like, oh, there it is. I knew it was coming. I should have. But and then he passes over. I'm at 8. He's at 20. It's looking a little sketchy. So here I'm going to try to take care of the Crown Prince. I spend some time thinking and declaring an attack, hoping he blocks, and just let him replay Crown Prince next turn, because hopefully I can deal with it, because I'm going to take care of the Land Surveyor with the Hippogriffs. And then I think not blocking here is the better call of this, because he's at 20. Next turn, he can attack almost uncontested with the Crown Prince. Just take the 5 and then make me still have to deal with this like recurring threat. Not blocking in Sorcery is really hard, but I think it can set you up for some really good turns in the future. So here my board, I have a Hippogriffs, I have a Spiders, I have a Warriors, I have a Unicorn. I'm starting to flood the board. I'm at 7 mana. I can start to double spell effectively. This is kind of where this deck kind of like it gets off to the races, where you can start double drop, do a Unicorn plus a grapple shot, do a Warriors plus a Lightning Bolt. Like, those double spell turns are really where you start to outvalue other decks. So here he plays the Crown Prince as a chump block, which is totally fair. But I think last turn, if he had Crown Prince on the field still, this game is a little bit different. So 8 mana, Royal Road or Imperial Road in the corner is kind of sneaky. I really don't want to give him extra mana on his turn. So just Genesis doesn't do anything, just an extra mana for me, because I need 8 for Grapple Shot plus Warriors. Grapple Shotting my Unicorn into the Foot Soldier to deal with it, and then attack Crown Prince to get it out of the way and stop from just coming back over and over and over again. There, I was contemplating about where to play Amazon Warriors, because I'm like, another Earthquake really hurts. But in this scenario, he can only get 2 of my minions. Double Unicorn, or Unicorn plus Warriors, or both Warriors, or Warriors plus Hippogriffs. It doesn't feel great to get 2 for 1, but if I had played my Warriors to the left one, he could get 3 for 1, which is a lot worse than a 2 for 1. But I still have a lot of pressure on board, and I feel pretty good about this position. I know I have a Pillars of Zeros in the site still somewhere. Maybe I can draw that. But coming up is a really crucial turn. Now I'll let Christopher explain what's going on through his head. This is a recording from the game.
Hi, Roots of Idrisil here. Then I'm going to discard Sinkhole. Oh, if I Craterize on it, I could destroy it with the Sinkhole anyway. Do I want to do that instead of just using Craterize to clear your things? I might do. Then it'll still do shitloads of damage to me. It'll still do heaps of damage to me if I do that. If I do the 10 on there, it'll do 2 to you, but it does 7 to me. It wipes everything. And then you get a turn. I've used all my mana. Those bedrocks didn't really matter. Or I can use it as the as just the mana for the Craterize to clear and do it like, yeah, would I do it there? Because then it doesn't kill your Amazon Warriors here. I was thinking here, and then it kills these 3, kills this, only leaves that alive, and then it'll only do, it won't do any damage to me. It doesn't do any damage to you. 7, 4. And it does 2 to you, and then it'll do 10, 7, 4. None to me. Taking you to 6. And it leaves you Giant Hippogriffs alive. I don't think I want to do the damage to me to destroy the root. So I'm going to do that play. I'm going to do the Craterize there on this square. It kills all the minions, including the spider, except for your Hippogriffs, who only takes a tickle, and you take 2 damage. And that's everything. This Sinkhole is dead. That's the toughest decision I've ever had to make. You do. You're on 6. It's your turn.
And thanks, Chris, for explaining your thought process there. I really liked that segment there, because it really shows how much goes through the decision of playing a single card. The fact he had to discard his Sinkhole so he could play Craterize to clear my board, so he didn't go to Death's Door, but didn't want to discard Sinkhole. And then later, after the game, we talked about it. Off the crossroads, he found 2 Sinkholes. So one of the sinkholes is at the bottom of his sights. It's just there's so much going on just a single card. Um, so here I am fine with him not blowing roots, but now I just need to start flooding the board again, and Sorcerer's really good at doing that with the double draw. Um, Hounds of Honduras is sneakily really good in this matchup. The only way he can really effectively deal with this is Boulder or Root Spiders if my Hounds is on one of his sites. It's really hard to get rid of because you can't bury it. It's a flyer. It's just very good. So there I do draw the Pillars of Zeros, and that's kind of what sealed the deal for it. I think I gained 12 off of that pillars. So here I can just start flooding the board. Now I can really do damage. He doesn't get the card advantage that Geomancer really gets to enjoy. I've got more movement spells in deck. He Atlas Wanderers here is pretty good. Kind of be aggressive with a big beater. Maybe take care of my Pudge Butcher. I draw a flanking maneuver, and I'm pretty happy about that. I'm at 8 mana, so I can double spell really well. This is the end of the game, but this has been 40 minutes. I know it hasn't been that long on the video, but this was a very long game. Flanking maneuver to draw a card, to get grapple shot. Now I can do 10 damage in a turn with the Pudge and grapple shot plus the 4 from the Hounds, and I've got a haste minion in hand. I've got a berry to remove whatever he puts in the way. I'm at 18. I feel pretty good. But the one decision to not craterize roots, this whole game was a lot of little decisions like that, and man, it was a really good game. Thank you so much for being an awesome opponent. I can't wait to play you some more, but I think this game is. I think I have this game in the bag, as they say. But trying to get your minions to stick into a field of removal spells is so difficult. You just can't die too fast. Like I said before, my takeaway from this game is just kill the 1/1 with your avatar. Take the 1 extra damage. Don't just keep getting hit over and over by it. But yeah. And then going into the second game here, I wanted to show the deck list a little bit. This has 25 minions, and I think it has 12 pieces of ramp with the Frontier Settlers, the cores, the stones, the towers. This deck is also really well positioned into roots. I know we're moving away from 40-20, but this is still a really good sound principle to have of what do you do post explosion or post everything gets removed? What is your game plan? This one is to keep playing big minions or just keep playing minions and what have you. But here in round 2, I'm against Astral. Astral went 8-0 in the league, which is a huge accomplishment. So going into this game, I was really worried about Avatar of Air and the crazy aggression it can have. This game was very different from the last game, where this game is you're walking a razor's edge and you really just need to survive the early onslaught of Avatar of Air. I mulligan away some non-ramp spells or non-ramp pieces into some better thresholds for my hippogriffs. I know I have core. So I play Windmill. Windmill in this deck is like the best turn 1. So this core is also really good against Avatar of Air in this ramp style because it kind of blanks one of their game plans of Maddening Bells. Because you can really go over the top of the tax. You can still keep playing things. You can't double spell as well, but you can still keep playing minions, and your minions are better than their 2/2 flyers, essentially, and that's how you can win this game. He plays his Bottomless Pit to his back row, which is fine. Gets Highland Falconer, and now he can really start pushing bats around and give it a lot more aggression than it really deserves because of the the extra airborne movement, he can attack anywhere he wants. Turn 3 is a watchtower. Now he has double air threshold. This positioning of my Avatar of Air is very good because it gives you a launch pad up forward and then also a kill spell if you ever come onto the site. So this is a really frustrating situation I've been put in here. Headless Haunt is another really just annoying minion. Now my unicorn can't be aggressive, but I went into this game knowing my minions can't attack until like I've stabilized. So I want to take 1-for-1 trades. I want to just keep his board as clear as I can. And so with that core plus a tower, I was able to have 5 mana turn 3 and drop a Amazon Warriors, which is really good. It's a great blocker. It doesn't die to Boulder. The only way it can die is getting pushed onto Bottomless Pit. So right now it's just a defender. And then his role of Haunt there is a really good one. But I'm going to take the block the second he attacks with it. Get hit with bats is fine. I can take 2. I don't care as long as I don't die immediately. Pushing the bats and attacking, and then playing a site for 4. So he's at 4 mana now. He can now bells on bats and really tax my next spells. We talked a little bit after the game about the site placement of 2 bottomless pits to the back row. I think if he had placed it forward 1 to his left, or my left of him, and tapped and moved his avatar into my Amazon Warriors and just killed him, that would have been a really big help. But just that little positioning idea, and I got really lucky here with a second tower off the top, going to 6 mana, so I can still Hippogriffs and attack the bells, and now I have control of the bells. And bells is a really double-edged sword card. I could maybe have buried bells, would have been another possible out, but now having control of bells, I can start getting this closer to him, and now he has to deal with it. And Avatar of Air doesn't really go big enough mana to deal with their own bells. So if you can get control of bells, it really throws a giant wrench into their game plan. Another Haunt, a little scary, but also it's random, so who knows. I'm not attacking with my Amazon Warriors because I don't want them to die. They're still defenders. But right now I've stabilized to the point where I'm not dying actively. So that's exactly where I want to be. Now I can just double draw and really drown them in card advantage. So that's where this deck wins. I did some practice games with CJ before this match. He was on the play every single game. I think I won 1 out of 3 or 4. And so this was a very lucky game for me. Playing another Hippogriffs just for more aggression. Have 6 mana, so the Bell's tax is fine. He rolls his Haunt to the corner there. I have Amazon Warriors. I might block, I might not, but he ends up flanking maneuvering, drawing a card. Flanking maneuver is a great movement spell. It's basically a teleport that draws you a card, which is just crazy. You can also do some shenanigans with like burrowed or submerged minions where you can teleport from below to above. It's really good. So he plays another bats here for a chump block, which I like. But I'm able to profitably trade, not even trade, but kill his minions with my Hippogriffs. Now I'm just clearing his board and attacking for 5 because now my Amazon doesn't die immediately. So he's at 12 to 16. Haunt is still here, but that's fine. I tap and draw another spell, play another core just to have more stuff. And then here I think about it for a little bit and where to place vampires. If he has Boulder in hand and boulders through the front sight and just wipes my board clean and maybe like blinks or something. And there's still like ways to deal with the board, but I'm starting to swarm. He hasn't had like Hippogriffs is a really good minion also into Avatar of Air because it's flying and bottomless pit doesn't matter essentially. Avatar of Air really has a hard time when they can't remove minions effectively because they don't play a lot of removal spells. They have some lightning bolts and whatnot, but they don't have berries. They don't have just hard removal everywhere. So your minions can stick around a little bit easier if you play around their site placement. Vampire is just another minion in this scenario. The life gain's nice, but it's just another flyer that doesn't die to bottomless pit. Get hit for 4. We're both at 12 now. This game, it's very different than the last game because it was just a slog. This one, it's really who maybe overextends first and gets punished. I got lucky with some towers and ramp, which is this deck really wants to do. The opening he had was very good as well, like with the bottomless pit and then a air site in front of it, and so now he has a launch pad. But this Avatar of Air really needs to win before Sorcerer kind of like starts to pop off, and I got lucky in that the pressure wasn't there, and so I have a grapple shot in hand, and that'll be enough to do it. I get in my own head here and think about double spelling with Earthquake and trying to move the sights around, and it's just no, just grapple shot. Grapple shot works. But this was a really fun game. It was a really tight one in the middle there, trying to jostle for position. Thank you, Astral, for the game, and we'll move on to game number 3. All right, and here's game 3. This is top 8 for the Sorcery League. Frankenstein here, I think he's playing a mono Earth list Sorcerer, which is really cool. This hand on the mulligan seems really good. I got Quagmire in 1, which is not great, but it's okay. And then Imperial Road and hoping into another Earth site. So that means I can have Autumn Unicorn on turn 2, which just feels good. Past that, I have Amazon Warriors to like ramp into flanking maneuver to do some shenanigans, and that draws me a card. So I was pretty happy with that hand. And here with the one site mulligan, get a windmill. I'm feeling pretty good. So next turn, I'm really looking to get the Amazon Warrior or Autumn Unicorn and applying some early pressure. Turn 1, Village is really good for Frankenstein. Just the chump blocker, the body it produces is just really annoying to deal with. Sometimes it takes a card, sometimes it just adds a blocker, and you can't really push through damage. It's just a little frustrating. So here I can play Quagmire off of my Imperial Road, which is fine because then it doesn't affect me on my turn. Him playing a Quagmire off the road doesn't affect me either, so I'm okay with this. So then playing the Unicorn, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hit for 4, or he's going to chump block, and then that's fine. So in this deck, I'm really looking to get to 5 mana as fast as possible, and then past that, go to 6. 6 mana is not really where you want to be for a lot of breakpoints. 8 and 9 mana is really where a lot of double spells come in because there's a lot of 4 and 5 drops in the deck. And then so Mirror Realm, I'm going to copy Mirror Realm, or Mirror Realm copies Road, and then I'm going to play Pillars of Zeros, which isn't great, but this is an early part of the game, and I really want to start applying pressure and just be the aggressive person in this. So just adding minions on board is really good. So Amazon Warriors here in the corners is the safest spot for it. If I play it on the road, he can just spider it, and then my flanking maneuver doesn't really work. And here I give Amazon Warriors as a bit of a bait because I know I have movement spells in my hand. And I guess he also played another Quagmire, so it couldn't have moved anyways, but it's okay. So Pudge here is a little scary. I'm thinking about flanking maneuvering and trying to kill Pudge with my Amazon Warriors. Here I top deck an Earthquake, which is just really good in this situation. because I can really remove his minions and allow my Amazon warriors to attack, which I really wanted to do. And the unicorn still being immobilized, that's fine. It's still not out of the game with the flanking maneuver. So attacking for 5 here is really good. Getting Pudge Butcher off the table before he can do anything. Just keep trying to keep his board clear. This early game where it's Sorcerer v Sorcerer, it's very resource just trades. It's really whoever gets something to stick. I get another core, so I'm ramping mid to late game with this Air Earth Sorcerer deck. It doesn't hurt to have more ramp and more cores late game. Here, like double drawing cores feels a little rough, but it's still okay. I still have my Sorcerer draw, and I think I get a Pudge Butcher. Yeah. And then so drop another core. I can't play the Pudge Butcher, but I still have Unicorn to pressure, so I'm attacking for 4. Oh, I probably should move those cards so we can see the life totals, huh? I'll work on that after this. The berries. I think he ended up playing 3 berries. The other thing about this deck that going into this top cut games, it's not super refined. It definitely needed some more play testing. Like, it needs more common sense targets. I would love to have a boss troll to get off of a common sense other than an Amazon Warriors. It only has grapple shots is really another good common sense target. It only plays 1 berry, so 2 berries would have been really good. Common sense for Amazon Warriors at 7 mana just feels really good. Just go to 5 power beater, makes him have to deal with it. Just keep making him deal with my stuff. Maybe I get hit for a couple points with the Foot Soldier, but that's fine. I have a Pudge Butcher and a Root Spider in hand. I got the Amazon Warriors just because it's a bigger beater, and Pudge Butcher takes time to do stuff. It is 5 power, and it's a little more immobile. So get here for a couple points here, and also pull Spider off of my site, which is good, because then I can play stuff to it and not have to really worry about it. I'm holding Spider in my hand just because I was waiting for him to be on my site. You don't really want to play Spider in front of a minion because that still gives him options to do stuff. Yeah, in this game there was a couple turns where it was just very swingy, and depending who gets stuff to stick, nobody had a whole lot of resources just to throw around. And here he has his first Divine Healing, and it's Divine Healing is such a rough card because it blanks so many turns of aggression. So he goes up to 18. I'm at through this. I was like, okay, this is still like can still work through this. I still have an Amazon Warriors. He's not gonna block here. I have a vampire in hand and a spider. I'm at 8 mana, so I can double spell really effectively with a 4 and 3 drop. So this is what the deck really wants to do: is to be at 8 mana, drawing 2 cards, playing 2 cards a turn. Frankenstein here is sitting at 5 mana for most of the game, which is fine. But really, you have to play cheaper cards to double spell. So like the boss trolls allow him to double spell at 5 mana plus a berry or something, or a divine healing. This deck, this Air Earth ramp, has a lot higher middle cards, like 4 and 5 drops. So getting to the 8 and 9 mana is really important to double spell. If you're playing a lower curve, you can kind of live at 5 mana. But this one it just needs to keep playing cards. He attacks my site with the bodyguard just to try not to dump too many resources into the Pudge Butcher. And the second Divine Healing is just so rough. It's like I haven't even started the game yet. I have an Amazon Warriors and a Spider on board, and a Pudge Butcher that has a bunch of stuff to eat through. I have a vampire, so I'm like, all right, this is my ticket to heal some. I'm going to punch for 5, take him to 15. And then Pudge Butcher can eat Bodyguard, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. His Spider is underneath his Sorcerer. I was thinking kind of about trading, but I didn't have a clean way to deal with Boss Troll. And I'm at 10, so I'm kind of wary about my life points. Uh, right now would have been the best time to trade, but I really wanted to trade spiders and then deal with the Boss Troll. Like, just set it up so I come out on top very nicely. I know he plays Boulder in Mono Earth just because it needs some kind of like damage spell. And then him playing Phalanx and then a Spider underneath here. Phalanx in non-air decks feels really rough because that downside is really big. Him double drawing. He's got 5 cards in hand now. Only 5 mana. I have 8 mana, but 1 card in hand because I keep playing stuff to the board. At this point, I'm pretty happy with my decision so far. I don't think I've really made any big blunders quite yet. So here he has a really good card of Crusade. And I was like, oh, okay. So he can trade spiders and still keep his spider. And then next turn he can use the Boss Troll with the Crusade buff as well. Here he plays Cave Trolls, which is actually a 3 for 4, which is a little scary because I can attack with Vampire and gain 4 and then kind of keep the board clear that way, but that doesn't feel great in this position. I really want to be able to like trade profitably. So here I get a flanking maneuver. Looking back at this, I could maybe flanking maneuver Vampire into Pillars of Zeros, draw a card, and then Pudge Butcher or use Amazon Warriors to kill the Foot Soldier, and then Pudge Butcher his avatar, which would probably be a better situation. But like this, I felt like this was an aggressive line to deal with his Cave Trolls. Yeah, thinking about this, I think that would have been better. Because Pudge Butcher eats Foot Soldiers anyways. I could have... Amazon Warriors attacked Foot Soldiers, got Troll maybe, and then I'm not piled up on his Sorcerer. Maybe that's a better line, thinking about it here. But my idea here, I have a Pudge Butcher on Pillars of Zeros. I can attack for 4, gain for 4, and so we're ahead on life. And then next turn, use Pudge Butcher to pull my Amazon Warriors off of the site he's going to move Spider onto. And I was thinking something like that. He had already used a couple berries. But I think I like flanking maneuvering my Vampire better. Frontier Settlers here is just a chump block for the Boss Troll since I'm at 14 and trying not to die. There's not a whole lot of healing in this deck. There's just Vampire. So here he disables Vampire and Amazon Warriors, which is expected. And then I think he buries the Pudge. Yeah. So I also have another Pudge Butcher in hand and another Vampire. So I was like, I have stuff to follow this up with. I can get Spider off of my site. I don't know. That was a rough call. Or maybe a side decision I could have made. I don't know if it would have been any better. Yeah. Amazon Warriors then wouldn't have been disabled. Yeah. I don't... Oh, jeez. That looks rough. If I hadn't done that, I would have had two minions attacking next turn if he just buried Pudge and then Boss Troll. So I would have Amazon Warriors and Pillars of Zeros and probably attack Quagmire with the Vampire and not gain 4. I don't know. This was a hard game. This was also like 10:30, 11 o'clock for me, so my brain was a little sleepy. But that's just me coping. Uh, so here I have 9 mana. Now I can Vampire and Pudge Butcher, which just feels really good. Um, what did I end up doing here? I think Pudge Butcher goes up to Pills or Zeros. Um, yeah. And then I was like, I don't want to. Oh no, Pudge Butcher goes on his avatar, because then I can projectile do shenanigans. And if he wants to disable his uh, boss troll or something, that's fine and give me my minions back. Boss troll chumps or vampire chumps blocks boss troll or just trades, and I gain 4, which feels really good. But here he gets his main kill spell, just like Avatar of Air. The rolling boulder really hurts. The vampire on top of spiders, whatever, but the free trade or the free kill he gets off of the vampire that was hopefully going to block really hurts. Yeah, and here he's like trying to clear my board a little bit, which is a smart thing to do. So he trades Spider into the already damaged Amazon Warriors. He was worried about like blinks or flanking maneuvers, which is totally fair. So I get a berry, which is okay, and then a bodyguard. So bury one of the trolls, bodyguard, try to do something. This mid game here where we're both at like 10 life, it's really who can trade more profitably. So I can eat the troll and bury. I chose not to do the 5 damage to him because I just need not to die and just keep playing minions. It's really who plays more minions almost. And this deck is just, I think there's 27 minions I'm playing. And then I can speak a little about the deck, I think. It only plays 1 berry, and like I said before, the common sense targets aren't super great. Like there's Grapple Shot and Amazon Warriors, which is really good, but I think this deck really needed a second berry and a blink to add just a little more flexibility to dealing with the opponent. And he just plays 2 more minions, which is fine. I can't Pudge Butcher, eat the unicorn, and keep Pudge Butcher. Maybe there's a world where I trade Pudge Butcher with unicorn, but here it's like if I can keep Pudge Butcher, I kind of want to. So I offer him the trade, which I'm fine with because I have another bodyguard in hand and I have a hound. So I can really just play more minions, bigger minions almost. But his Crusade kind of nullifies my ability to play 4 and 5 drops. So here I hit him for 5. Take him down to 6. I'm feeling okay. A little, just getting a little close there. And just to bring up again, he's Divine Healing twice, which is super frustrating. But it's a card you got to play around, and it's a lot to beat into. Here with Hounds, I end up putting it on the Pudge Butcher because I'm thinking about Gigantism. And if I play it on his Boss Troll, I can't block that. Or, I mean, I can block that, but I can't block a Gigantism on a Sorcerer. I know I'm at 9, but in my head, it was like, if I get Gigantism, he probably has another way to do it, an extra point of damage or something. So I was worried about going to Door this turn, and it's like, I need to have an effective block on any of my sites. So right now I have to protect Pillars of Zeros, Imperial Road, and the Quagmire that the Sorcerer is on. And the only way to do that is playing it there. It opens me up to a Spider, which is just super frustrating that he gets here off his second draw. But it is what it is. So taking out 2 of my minions with the 1 really hurts. I'm hoping to get some movement spells, or Grapple Shot doesn't work. So those 2 are basically gone. It really sucks, and it's just watching back this game, it's really, really hard. But I don't think anything has really gone super awry at this point, whereas I feel super
strongly about changing decisions. Maybe flanking maneuvering the vampire is my only thing I would change up to this point. Here he has a dispel for the 2 cores. He's been holding on it for a while, he said, but the fact he did this really threw a wrench into my plan here. Double drawing, get a grapple shot and a common sense. I don't have a second berry. I don't have a blink. I ended up getting a Amazon Warriors because that's really my only option. I really wanted to be able to double grapple shot the bodyguard, and common sense grapple shot and another grapple shot. I think it's 8 mana. Yeah, and so it's just like 1 mana off. I talked to CJ after this point, or about this point here, and he's like, yeah, there's no way with the cards you have and the current board state from preventing to go to door. I spent, I don't know, 5-6 minutes trying to figure out a way to do that in game, but it was really hard. At this point, I think my brain just kind of shut off and gave up, which is a really bad thing I tend to do, and I've started to notice myself doing. But it's just, I really should have just locked in for another 10 more minutes and really thought about the decisions. Here, I have grapple shot in hand, and I'm just like, all right, I need not to die. I got him to door. He's got a rolling boulder looking at my bedrock, so in my head, it's like, that doesn't feel very safe. I know it's on a spiders, but like, there's shenanigans that can happen. I see bodyguard up top. I draw another card, which wasn't a super great idea, but here I grapple shot into the Sisters of Silence and like get near bed or bodyguard to buy a turn is my thought, and then I have a blocker. It's just like, and this decision to grapple shot into his Sisters of Silence cost me the game. If he had Earthquake or something, and if I was on Bedrock, I was safe. I should have just tapped and moved to Bedrock. And then next turn, any minion I have on board left, or I can tap and move up to Watchtower to grapple shot into his Sorcerer. It was just, I made the wrong decision. And even killing his Sisters of Silence wasn't a good idea, because the Sisters of Silence would have turned off his Atlas Wanderers. It's just if I hadn't tapped and moved up, or tap and draw my second sight, I could have grapple shotted and tapped and moved onto my Imperial Road, which would have been an even better position to be in, because then I would have still been on a defended site. It's just but good game. It was a really fun game. It was almost 50 minutes of decisions. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If you made it this far, consider subscribing. I really enjoy seeing the channel grow and seeing all the comments and people talking about stuff and getting better and pointing out things that could be changed. I really appreciate it. So thanks, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.